I mean, if this guy pulled any longer or harder, these people would be dead. Hello, I'm Dr. Deuk. I'm a neurosurgeon, board certified in the United States, practicing in Florida at the Deuk Spine Institute. And I'm here today to talk to you about this very popular treatment that's online that we're seeing a lot of videos on, and it's called the Y-strap. And this is a chiropractor who's using basically a harness, a traction harness, to wrap around people's chins and grab it and then pull. And you're starting to see patients who are being treated with videos online, and these people are talking about how great they feel right after the treatment. So we want to dive in a little bit, and I'm going to take you through some of these treatment videos and give you my commentary on what I think about it. Just so you understand what we're talking about a manipulation technique done by a chiropractor on the spine. And for those of you who don't know much about the spine is made up of bones that are stacked on top of each other. It's called the spinal column because all of your body's extremities and organs are attached to the spine, and they put weight down on the spine. So gravity pulls everything down, and all these bones are compressed down on two types of joints. The two types of joints I'm talking about are the disc joint, which is this cushion between the bones. And of course, the second type of joint is the facet joint. The facet joint back here, there's a left and a right facet joint for every disc. So for movement to happen in the spine, it happens not where the bones are, but between the bones at the disc or the facet joints. So if I'm moving these two bones, I'm going to be moving it at the disc, and I'm going to be moving them at the facet joints. It's a very big misrepresentation or myth to believe that chiropractic treatments affect the disc, because they don't. They affect the facet joints. And when you hear the cracking and popping that goes on with manipulation, that cracking and popping is happening right here in the facet joints, not the disc. So we're going to talk a little bit more about these treatments. I'm going to start up my video right now and we'll talk about it. All right, so
that all the way down to my foot.
Good.
Oh my goodness, that was so fantastic! That was so fantastic!
All right, so why was that so fantastic? This woman is so happy because he did the treatment and she's still alive. And she's just happy as heck that she's alive and she survived it. I would be happy too if I survived that treatment. That's scary. Basically what this guy's doing is he's taking a very strong rope, putting it around your neck, and basically hanging you. I mean, how many of you watch the old Western movies, right? Where the people are put in a noose and they're going to get hung, and then suddenly the floor drops and they jolt down. That's the same thing this guy's doing, except he's not hanging them any longer than a second. He's just hanging them for that first second. So why are people feeling better? Well, first of all, they're hearing all that cracking and crunching going on, and that's happening once again in these little joints along the spine, because he's distracting the spine and basically pulling the joints apart. It's no different than popping your knuckles, okay? And that's why it makes that popping sound when he does it. Except when you pop your knuckle, you're popping one joint, so you feel one pop. When you're popping the spine, you're popping like 20 joints. And so that's why you're hearing all those popping and crunching sounds. It's just a matter of popping more joints. It just means it's more dangerous, to be quite honest with you. So what happens when those joints pop is they're basically sliding. Suddenly they're being pulled and slid, like being hung in a noose. Your body suddenly pulls on your neck, and all that weight goes down, pulling your head up, body down, distracts the joints. That's what happens right before you die. I mean, if this guy pulled any longer or harder, these people would be dead. So what kind of injuries could happen as a result of this treatment? Well, there's something called occipital cervical dislocation. And basically what it means is when your skull, which is what he's pulling on, literally pulls off your spine, and it pulls the spinal cord and the brain apart from each other, right at the brainstem. And if that happens, you're toast. you're gonna die. The brainstem controls breathing, consciousness, everything. And somebody could easily be basically knocked right out by damaging the brainstem.
That does not look safe. It places the patient's head in extension, can shear the facet joints. The vertebral artery patency is worrisome. This can also just be done manually and no need for the Y-strap without improper vectors on the patient's cervical spine.
So it's really, I think, very irresponsible, and this guy's lucky. It's like playing Russian roulette. You know, it's exciting. You put one bullet in the chamber and you pull the trigger. Wow, I mean, what a rush of adrenaline, right? But if the bullet happens to be the one in the chamber, when you pull the trigger, it's all over. So every time they're pulling on these people's heads, they could pull the skull right off the spine and basically snap your brainstem in half and you're dead. So I think it's very irresponsible, to be quite honest. Where do we see these kind of injuries? We see them in motor vehicle accidents. That's when people get into crashes, like a head-on crash where the front of your car hits the rear of someone else and your head snaps forward. The whole skull goes forward and it can rip right off your spine. This guy's recreating motor vehicle accident injuries to the neck every time he's doing this treatment. So why do people feel good? Well, like I said, number one, they feel all the cracking and popping, and wow, you know, I'm alive. So that's number one, I survived. So what that does is it releases all the natural endorphins and adrenaline in your body immediately. Fight or flight. We've all been in that situation where suddenly there's something dangerous, like a snake on the ground that might bite you, or somebody's yelling and running towards you, they want to attack you. Suddenly you get full of adrenaline, you're all pumped up, your body's stimulated, your heart's racing, you're breathing faster, you're ready to go. That's what these people are feeling, an adrenaline rush. That's all this is. If you want an adrenaline rush, go do something that's safer for you. Don't have your skull nearly pulled off your spine. Because everything he's doing with the cracking and popping, it's not doing anything permanent to fix your body. There's no permanent change going on unless he kills you, which is permanent. But besides killing you, everything that's being done with this, if you survive it, it's all going to settle back, and there's no fixing anything done with this technique except an adrenaline release.